Blessings, beautiful souls. Vince, thank you so much for being patient with me as I answer your question. So, this question came from another video I did on how to keep your vibration high in a low frequency environment. And he was asking, I was saying that once you're aware that you're having the experience from your programming, that you can go into your heart space, activate the frequency of the divine, and shift the experience, attune your consciousness to a frequency beyond your programming. When we are aware that we are in our programming, depending on whether we're in an environment where there's other people, or it could just be the environment of our own thoughts, and we're looping in those lower frequency thought patterns or programming, one of the best ways that I like to shift out of this is to first recognize, am I in a primal response? And most likely, we're always in a primal response. Unless we're holding consciousness above our programming, that's when life starts to open up and we get creative and expansive and all these beautiful things. That awareness is everything. So, how do you become aware? Well, you'll know that primal responses or programming is based on survival. So if you're having thoughts that are judging something as good and bad, you pretty much will know you're in your programming or you're in a primal response. Why would we compare that to a primal response? Well, primal response is there to keep you safe. So in that moment, ask yourself, am I safe? And if the answer is yes, meaning you're safe of being hit by a train or being robbed, something where there is a reason to have a primal response, then take a moment, just step back and even say out loud or to yourself, I recognize that I'm in my programming. I recognize that my body is trying to keep me safe. When you tell your body that you are seeing the primal response, it immediately begins to calm down those chemicals or the loops. I have a little kitty in my lap. She's getting comfortable here. From there, we have seen the frequency of the observation that we're in. I'm going to actually link the 1 to the 2 to the 3 to the 1, that video below, because it explains what I'm about to say a little bit more in detail. But when we start to see life as information, we step outside of our programming. So, how do we activate the divine in our heart space and have the experience from there? Once we are aware that our body is in a primal program, or we are experiencing primal programming through the mind, we have a choice. We have a choice to continue to experience it through our programming, or we can put our consciousness somewhere else. And that's why I call it the 1 to the 2 to the 3 to the 1. So if you're aware of what's on the other side, this could be a thought, this could be your environment, a relationship. There's always a third frequency, and that's the divine. It's always up here. And so when we intuitively or through choice move our awareness from here to here, we may not see something at first. We may not experience anything different, but making that choice activates that frequency in your heart. And then we have another choice. We either continue to focus up here, even when we see or feel nothing, or we move back to this experience. It's a lot harder to hold consciousness in an abstract frequency, something that we can't see. Sometimes we can feel it, and that takes practice. To be able to practice, to be able to feel the divine frequency is attuning to those subtle energies, is to be aware of the frequencies that are beyond our five senses. You could say it's the sixth sense, but really the intuitive powers or our intuition is where we will all be heading as we advance into the next of human evolution. We will start to use our senses that are not seen through programming, that are not felt through form, that cannot be studied. So, Vince, this is what I'm going to give you. The next time you ask to activate that frequency in your heart, just ask, what does it feel like to have the divine frequency activate in my heart space? And then just take a moment and focus on your heart. Notice, did anything change? Do I feel any different? And even if you don't, keep doing it. Because in time, just because you're focusing on asking and then receiving, meaning having the experience of that frequency, you will start to attune to the subtle difference of what it feels like to be in programming or be in the frequency of the divine. Believe me, if you continue to do this, it will not be so subtle. You will get to a place where it's so clear of when you are in your programming and when you are not, when you're in the divine. It's something that we haven't been taught. So you're just remembering. You're remembering your innate being, that frequency of source. So I'm sure this question is gonna hit a lot of different people in a lot of different ways. And Vince, I hope that this helped, and I will post this very soon. Keep asking the questions. Sending you all so much love and a big hug.